passengers, Oberon. Coke for Port Pirie, then to Tacoma for wheat. My only worry is Baines.
Baines?
He's on the Charlotte Road, bound for New Orleans from Venezuela.
Venezuela ain't but the street. Weather reported there.
I know.
All of days the Oleander, back from a refit. Where's she bound?
Bitumen for Swansea. Then into the ore train.
Oleander. Osborne. The Oberon. Well, James, you got the fleet you've always dreamed of. The Scotch lass. With Captain Fogarty in command. Scotch lass. Even her name's an insult.
Aye. Well, as soon as we get ashore, I'll have a pair of shoes to collect. A visit to the haberdashers.
Haberdashers, you?
Time I had a refit. I smacked too much of the sea. Is Caroline at home?
She's at her dressmaker's.
Oh.
Is she expecting you?
I dare say.
Where have you been?
I haven't been anywhere.
Well, you've bought a hat. And your hair. Are you using pomade?
I had a man in to style it.
That came.
Well, he said it was all the vogue. Here, this broadcloth. You don't think it's too ostentatious?
Oh, no. Well, not exactly. I've never known you so concerned with your appearance.
Well, I've come to a decision about Caroline. Mrs. Morsley, that is. As you know, I've been seeing a good deal of her, and,
Yes?
well, I thought you should be the first to learn. I've 6 ships now. Fleet to me name. Capital put by for the first time.
Well, what am I to be the first to learn?
My decision.
Decision about what?
To marry her, of course. What else?
Marry her?
That's right.
Was it a sudden decision, on the spur of the moment? You felt perhaps you ought to?
Ought to?
Well, you were always very impetuous. Now you're under an obligation.
Huh?
Some things you can't calculate.
I don't quite follow you.
You've even had your nails manicured.
I will never mind about that. Dear, I'd be obliged if you'd keep it to yourself.
Oh, not a word said. Have you mentioned it to Caroline?
Certainly not. Has she mentioned anything?
About what?
Well, you both live in the same house. You must have little talks.
Little talks?
Aye. Well, I imagine you do. No?
Oh, you mean like you and Captain Baines?
Yes, like me and Captain Baines. He's overdue in Venezuela. Not the sight and the sound of him.
I thought something was amiss. Tell me, have you, mentioned the strength of your feeling to Caroline?
Certainly not. I thought I'd sound you out first.
Oh, I'm touched.
Elizabeth. Oh, James, I'm glad you're here. I've just spoken to Alfred, Lord Canning's cousin. The contract for the Australian mails is open to tender. But for steamships, of course, you'll have to find yourself a fast steamer.
Yes, I'm obliged to you. Oh, Caroline, there was something else.
Oh, look, I'm awfully sorry. I can't stop now.
Why?
Well, Alfred's invited me to Buxton. His mother was a friend of my mother. She's getting married.
Married?
Yes, and I'm invited. Isn't it fun? She's 73.
Oh, Caroline, will you be long?
As long as they'll have me. I love Buxton. I shall probably take the waters as well. Bye.
73. Plenty of time, then.
Oh, look, Elizabeth, couldn't you have a word with her? Give us some idea of my intimations, eh?
Your intimations? Well, if she doesn't know about them now, it's not a job your sister can do. Poor Leonora.
What's it got to do with Leonora?
James, are you quite sure you're making the right choice? I doubt Leonora has any idea of your intimations.
Oh, look, Elizabeth, all I want is a little favour. I mean, it wouldn't do me any harm if you were to mention it to Caroline in a good light.
Oh, I'm honoured. It isn't often you ask a favour of me, James.
Oh, come on, Elizabeth, I am serious.
I'm sure you are. And there's no one else, is there? Now, if Captain Baines were here, you could send him after her to tell her what a fine catch you are.
Elizabeth...
But Baines is already engaged in yet another favour for James Onedin, keeping your father-in-law out of your hair.
Another week, Captain. No more.
Let me telegraph my owner.
The telegraph is closed, alas.
Then let me pick up a cargo and clear.
Oh, I'm sorry. The cargo is delayed. You see, the trouble is on the road to Caracas. These insurgents come out of their holes at night, like rats.
Well, they don't bother me here. I don't see the need for soldiery on my deck.
For your own protection, Captain.
Well, Colonel Horace, have you finally got it across to him? I said you'll have to make it simple.
Well, I hope so. You will have a cargo at the earliest possible moment, Captain. Believe me.
It is customary to stand up in the presence of visiting officers.
I tell you, Frank, I don't understand the reason for us being kept here.
Revolution, man. Civil strife, pestilence. You've never heard of coup d'etat? Every few years they rise against the clerics, and then it's look out. Well, say something, man.
Mr. Onedin's got 6 fully rigged ships on the high seas. Why, oh, why does he have to put you with me?
Because he knows there'll come a day, Captain Baines.
Mitchell dead?
Aye. Colitis. It'll be in all the newspapers tomorrow.
Mitchell? He bought up the shares in the World Steam Navigation Company. They've got James's ship, the Scotch Lass.
I know that. And I thought this would be a very good time to repurchase those shares before the news of his death is reported.
Ah, you're right, Sarah.
Well, there's no reason why his wife should want to hang on to the ship now. You'd best tell James.
James? He doesn't have to know everything.
Oh, please yourself. Oh, you know who she is, don't you?
Who she is?
Ada Mitchell. She's Ada Felton as was.
Ada Felton.
Well, you must have known her.
Of course I knew her. Nehemiah Felton's daughter. Ada Felton, my word, aye.
Why'd you say it like that?
Oh, she was always in and out of the shop. Very well set up little piece, flouncy.
Or was it in out of the shop?
Aye. In fact, there were times she came in so often when I was 7, it was quite embarrassing. There was even talk. But Father was alive in those days.
Did she mean anything to you?
No, it wasn't for want of trying on her part. Ada Felton. Best pay me respects.
Oh, not before the funeral.
Well, I shall have to if we're going to get the lass back. The world and his wife will be there tomorrow. I'd better wear me formal.
Robert? What do you mean, flouncy?
Oh, just a manner of speaking. I know that words are inadequate at a time like this, but I'd just better, I thought. Ada, how are you?
As well as can be expected.
When I heard it gone on, well, I thought it's a warning to us all.
You'd better sit down.
Aye.
Will you take some light refreshment?
No, I'm not one of those.
Those?
Who prey on others' bereavement.
Oh, you've come on business then?
Eh? Oh, no.
I was expecting your brother. He wants his steamship back, doesn't he?
Oh, well, at a later date, I was going to suggest that if it was a help to you, that I could take the Scotch Lass off your hands.
You?
I thought of you, Ada, and all those times in the shop.
The shop?
Aye, when you used to come and see me, remember? In Father's Day. And the moment I heard, well, what can I do, I thought. Well, I said, well, now at last, this is something I can do. I wasn't going to mention it today of all days, but, well, since you brought it up, you can rest assured I'll take the steamship off your hands. You'll want cash, not shares, to settle the estate.
I would have thought James.
No, he's lost interest in it.
You want me to sell the ship to you?
If it would be a help to you.
Have you mentioned it to James?
Good heavens, no, it's got nothing at all to do with him. He's not at his best at these times. Your loss, I mean.
You remember me coming into the shop then?
Oh, I do. Aye, I do. But my hands were tied. Well, you know what Father was.
How do you mean your hands were tied?
Well, I couldn't respond. Ada, we're all men and women of the world now, but your feelings for me then, well, how can I say that? They were treasured, even though I couldn't respond. He used to come in ever so many times. He bought so many packets of Reckitt's Blue, we ran out one week.
So I did. But it wasn't you I come to see.
It wasn't?
No. And you'd better tell him.
Who?
James. And if he could find his way to calling, perhaps we could come to some arrangement.
Do you mean it wasn't me?
No. But I'm grateful to you for calling. You've quite relieved my grief, Councillor.
So as soon as I heard, I went over there. Prepare the ground for you, I thought. And thanks to my good officers, I think it might be worth your while paying a call.
What does he want? Shares or cash?
Well, I don't know. But I don't think anyone could have done any more for you than I have done.
Well, then you'd better come with me.
No, not twice.
Why not?
Sarah.
Sarah? What's Sarah got to do with her?
Well, Ada Mitchell's Ada Felton, that was. Nehemiah Felton's other daughter. The mother was a handful as well. Do you remember they had that yard by the shop?
The knacker's yard?
No, the farrier's. Ada was... Well, you know.
No, I don't know.
Well, she wasn't exactly band of hope. She was always in and out of the shop.
I don't remember her.
Well, she remembers you.
And she says she's expecting me.
Aye.
Oh, well, she'll have to wait. Oh, I've got other problems. Now, tell me. Do you know where Mitchell calls the lass?
Aye, Hudson's over on the Albert Dock.
Ah, well, she's not there. I've looked. Do you know where else she could be?
Would she be in Biddulph's?
I don't know. I just want to keep my eye on the lass. Look, find Fogarty here. Offer him a discount on his victuals, eh?
Fogarty, I'm not going to go chasing around after him. Anyway, I've done quite enough for you for one day.
Oh, I do wonder about you sometimes. What are you, a businessman or a shopkeeper?
I am a public representative, and I should think that every now and again you might show me a bit of respect for all that I do on your behalf.
Well, there you are. If she needs anything, it's a refit. Not only that, The condenser's scaling up. The only time you can see water in the gauge glass is when you're old.
She'll do.
Just don't understand your rush.
Whenever Nona dies, it pays to be busy. So I'm taking on a time charter to Toulon if we're contracted our jobs are safe.
Ah, well, there's sense in that.
The sooner the better. If I would, I'd keep her tramping outside of Liverpool altogether.
Well, what are you fearing, then?
James Onedin will get his hands on her. But I taste her working for him.
See what you mean. For myself, I'd rather be stoking the fires of hell. Mind you, you push her too hard and whoever gets her will get hold of a wreck.
All right, well, time to worry about that later. Now then, if James Onedin or his brother Robert come aboard, we're awaiting orders and not a word said ashore.
We're not awaiting orders, we're awaiting France.
But if James Onedin asks, we're awaiting orders.
Obviously, Mr. Mitchell left the bunkering to Captain Fogarty, and he's just carrying on.
For bunkering, I can understand. But where's he bound?
Well, that you'll have to ask Captain Fogarty.
Oh, Mrs. Mitchell. Now, another thing that puzzles me. Why has Fogarty brought his business to you?
Why shouldn't he?
Well, she's always cold at Hudson's.
Well, now, there's a very simple answer which I am sure you will understand.
Oh, what?
We're cheaper. And is there any reason why we shouldn't do business with whom we please? It may surprise you to learn that we are not in business for the sole convenience of James Onedin.
Ah, Captain Fogarty, good day to you.
Mr. Onedin, Fiddle.
Outward bound, are you?
Watch it.
Oh.
First to pay my bill.
And then?
To profits. Where else?
What port?
Wherever my owner sends me.
Your owner's dead.
Aye, but like John Brown's body, this spirit lingers on. Bye, Miss Fiddle.
Good day.
Do you know where he's bound?
Now, that is Captain Fogarty's business.
Oh, come.
Surely you don't want me to give you a lecture in discretion.
Oh, no, but you could do me a favor.
How?
Well, I should very much like to know what Captain Fogarty's intentions are.
Now, the man is not a fool.
Why'd you say that?
Because he took very particular care not to tell me what his intentions were.
Huh. Looks like all roads lead to the grieving widow, then. I had hoped to avoid that.
Oh, any news of Captain Baines?
None.
Aren't you worried?
Not for his hide, just his sanity.
Colonel Flores is waiting for a decision.
Look at that glass.
He's not concerned with the weather.
I am, and I don't like the sound of his proposition.
What's more natural than what is safeguard valuables in a time of insurrection? Besides, he's offered you extra cargo.
Yeah, well, tell him I'll be with him presently.
There is a difficulty?
It is a little unusual, but I've no doubt he'll come round.
Now, let me get this straight. In exchange for me transporting you and your valuables to Maracaibo, there will be a deck cargo of hides awaiting me there.
Indeed so. Maracaibo is only 300 miles west of here.
How about these valuables? From the cathedral, you say?
Yes, one or two sculptures, a statue, some objets d'art. They will be in one large crate.
Sealed?
Naturally, and placed here in the saloon for safety.
They fear the desecration of the cathedral by the insurgents. How much more have you got to know, man?
When do you propose to ship this cargo aboard, sir?
As soon as possible and as secretly as possible.
Why secretly?
The port here is under siege, and we have no wish to advertise a lack of confidence in our own forces.
You mean you don't want anybody to know?
Captain, I do have the requisite authorizations before me. Our troubles come and go, but in calmer times, we're in a position to favor foreign shippers. What would your owner say?
James Onedin, what wouldn't he touch?
Very well, Colonel. We'll have to look sharp, because looks to me as if there's some weather coming up, and I want to give us some sea room. Gain an offing.
Of course, of course. Everything will be done as you wish, Captain.
Their valuables, they're ought to be towed as well as slung. If you will consult the most elementary manual of seamanship...
If they are the valuables he says they are.
Hey,
Why, I guess his arms. Arms and powder.
arms and powder. What do you intend to do, man?
Nothing while this weather lasts. Let's get to sea. I tell you, I will. As soon as this weather clears, we take a look inside that crate.
But you can't broach cargo.
I have a good reason. They're very savage penalties for carrying arms at a time of insurrection. But we'll ride this out first. We've weathered the worst of it. Got a very good stomach for a soldier, Colonel.
I like to think I have whatever is required in this situation, Captain.
A little bit of ironmongery and all.
Oh, purely ornamental, but the salt air is very harmful.
Surely you're not proposing by letter. She won't be back for another 3 weeks.
It's none of your business.
When I was honoured that you'd confided in me.
Yeah, well, I soon regretted that, didn't I?
I'd never seen you so agitated. When you married before, all your worries lay in a balance sheet.
Well, that was different. Anyway, I've other things on my mind now. Still no news of Captain Baines. Loss after loss reported from South America.
Robert asked me to give you this. It was addressed to the shop.
Oh, it's from that Mitchell woman.
Ada Mitchell?
Aye.
Ada Felton, that was. My word.
What do you mean, my word?
What does she want?
Well, she wants to see me. Robert remembers her. You remember her. I've got no recollection of her at all. Look, all that interests me is that she's got the Scotch lass, and that's all there is to it.
You'd better be in a more obliging mood if you're going to see her.
I'll deal with her in my own way.
If I were you, I'd consult the Ladies' Home Companion before you finish your letter. It offers very good advice to the lovelorn.
Oh, get along with you.
My life was dreadful. I have to put up this pretense, but in my heart it was a great release.
Yes, I'm sorry.
You don't need to be.
I've come about the Scotch lass.
I know. I knew you'd be direct, not like your brother Robert.
Robert?
You can't imagine how long it took to come to the point. He wants her for himself.
Robert made you an offer?
As good as.
Well, he was acting on my behalf.
Not he. He had no doubt we could come to an arrangement between ourselves.
Well, I think you must have misunderstood.
Why? Is it beyond the bounds of possibility? Oh, it's a relief for me to get up out of my widow's chair and to know I don't have to pretend with you.
Mrs. Mitchell, you say you have a clear recollection of me, but I'm afraid I don't.
Like yourself, I was born in Cotton Hay, just off the dock.
Salthouse dock?
The same. Your health, James.
Aye.
I used to look up at the houses in Salthouse Street and the Croxteth Road, and I'd say, perhaps one day I'll live there with the carriage trade and the quality.
Of course, I want to express my sympathies, but naturally, I've an interest in the lass.
You're sure you don't remember me?
No, I'm afraid well, perhaps...
Felton's other daughter.
Yes. Oh, yes. Well, now that you come to mention it, it does ring a bell. Yes. Well, now, about the Wirral Steam Navigation Company.
You haven't changed, James.
I'm afraid you have me at a disadvantage.
If I have, I'm one of the very few that ever did, eh?
Right, then, I'll be frank. For a controlling interest in the company in possession of the Scotch lass, you can name your own price.
Oh. I'm just facing up to it.
What, Mrs. Mitchell?
The prospect of idle days.
I'm sure Mr. Mitchell left you well provided for, and, well, what with my offer, I'm sure you could...
It's not the money. Your wife, she died in the most tragic circumstance. How did you manage?
Me? Oh, I busied myself.
Well, it's different for a woman.
Aye, well, I can't help you there.
They say, the rumour was, your wife, well, her dowry was just a ship and the clothes she stood up in.
That was years ago, Mrs. Mitchell. I'm private.
Private?
Indeed. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking of marrying again.
Marrying again? Who?
Well, now, that's private, too. Now, come on, about the Scotch lass.
She's not for sale.
I beg your pardon.
I don't know how you can come here and upset me at a time like this. Your brother Robert as well. No, I won't discuss it further. The Scots lass is not for sale.
I just don't understand your rush.
I want to get out of Liverpool now.
But why?
Do you know why?
But what's the sense of going light to Toulon?
We won't go light. We'll lay off.
Man, we're months overdue for a refit. Now, don't say I didn't warn you.
You're like an apple woman, McWhirter. No wonder things were bad in the old days if they signed on men like you.
Listen, I needn't wouldn't bother you. You seen Lloyd's list? Charlotte Rhodes is posted missing off South America. 12 weeks overdue.
James Onedin's written off men and ships before. The fact is, he wants this one, but he's not going to get it.
Sharp now.
Your accomplice had better leave. Of what did you suspect me, Captain?
Well, it's all snug and dry in here. Arms and powder. Packing cases is unnatural for firearms.
And what have you found?
I don't know. No valuables, that's for sure. Fire bars by the look of them.
Your knife, Captain?
What is it?
Bullion?
Bullion?
Gold. Upwards of 3 million pesos.
But you said valuables.
Oh, yes, you see, originally my cargo was to be exactly what I said it was. But then it occurred to my superiors they had to safeguard the gold as well.
All right. But as I understand it, it's still valuables to Maracaibo and a cargo of hides for me to New Orleans.
And that is the most important consideration for you?
My deck cargo, yes, sir.
But what about the presence of bullion? Is it of no import to you?
Well, it's not mine. Never likely to be, sir.
What would you say to a share of it? Well, I put down the thought, Captain.
You asking me to be a party to stealing it, sir?
At the moment, I'm merely making a suggestion.
But you mean stealing?
It's nearly £1 million of English money. A sum such as a man will never see in his lifetime. Were you to set passage for Port of Spain, what difference would it make to you?
Oh, no difference.
Well, let me put it another way. You have broached cargo. The seals are broken. What would my superior say to that?
Well,
But let us not get too complicated. You are not a complicated man, Captain Baines.
No, sir, I'm not, but I know what stealing is.
If you insist. But an essential part of stealing is ownership. Which brings me to another question. If the government falls, then to whom does this gold belong?
I don't follow you, sir.
Look, supposing I were to buy the ship. Now, what would your owners say to the loss or gain of £50,000?
£50,000? No, I won't be a part of stealing, sir. And then there's my deck cargo.
Captain, I am sorry. There are no hides for you in Maracaibo. No cargo and no payment. The government is in peril, the country is divided, the civil population in terror, and if my superiors need a ship, they will take yours and slit your throat into the bargain. So may I suggest you think about my offer again and change your course for Port of Spain? Think about it.
We'll lie here. Got all the time you want.
If I sail with another captain trained in sail again, I'll be a Dutchman. Look, I keep telling you, a condenser's a dockyard job. It's not just a case of bits and pieces. Now you haven't even got enough steam to raise that anchor.
As I said, we'll lie here. We're well out of Onedin's clutches.
Oh, you're obsessed, man. Look, all it needs is a good groundswell in the flood and we'll drag.
I can slack off and shear. That's mind of the business. You leave that to me.
Oh, Bughouse Jack isn't he, innit?
Now, watch your tongue, McGuire.
My tongue's the least of your problems. Look, you know where we are. When did you last anchor here? You're abaft the blockhouse, right over the Wallasey telegraph cable.
You're like wind in a bottle. I've slipped cables before.
Without steam?
We're going to heave the anchor chain over the side.
Aye. In the wake of it breaking the telegraph cable and leaving us free to drift onto those rocks.
Miss Biddulph. I had hoped to find your father here. Just wanted to know if there was any news of Captain Fogarty.
No, he's on a time shot to France, I believe.
I see.
James. James, I've been to see Ada Mitchell. I thought I might persuade her to sell the Scotch lass to you.
But you didn't.
No, but I'm very glad I went. Because she told me you were considering marriage.
Well, yes. My daughter to consider. That's not my only worries, though. Brother Robert's avoiding me for the usual reasons.
A luncheon?
A surprise, I thought. It'll be an achievement to get James to luncheon in the middle of the week. I've prepared a cold collation. It's all there on the sideboard.
Is James too mean to take me to a restaurant?
Well,
Well,
after mature reflection, yes.
you know, what I can't understand is why you should go to all this trouble when you're not even going to stay.
I had a party once when we were children. James helped with that.
Oh, James not here.
He was, but he's gone.
Did he say where?
No, he said you were avoiding him.
I'm not avoiding him. I'm trying to find him. Oh, your father wouldn't happen to have access to a steam tug, would he?
A steam tug?
Ah.
Well, I'll see what I can do.
Good. I'm sorry I can't stop. I must find James.
Brother Robert.
She didn't tell me she was back.
She came straight home, and her first reaction was luncheon. A surprise.
Well, then why didn't she tell me?
You know nothing about women, James.
Shy, do you mean?
Oh, James hasn't been here, has he?
No.
I've been everywhere, to the office, down to Biddulph's.
Robert, listen to this. People ran hither and thither crying for help. Some screaming with fear, and some shouting the names of their relations.
Oh, what are you talking about?
Other casualties during that dreadful night were the sinking of the four-masted square rigger, Eliza Roger.
Well, that's got nothing at all to do with us.
It's Captain Baines I'm thinking about. You haven't given a thought to him, have you? Not Captain Webster.
Baines is only delayed. He's not wrecked.
Oh, Robert, do you not care at all?
Oh, I'll mention it to James, if I can find him.
What difference does it make to you, Maracaibo, Port of Spain? What is bothering you? Your conscience? Listen to me. In South America, the only gift of God is flies, so you can forget about your conscience. 50,000 pounds. Think what your owners would say. And there is your family. Your sister, you told me. Her children.
The arms have travelled very well, Baines. And the powder.
I'd be grateful if you'd stand the watch, Captain Webster.
I dare say you would. A day you've been in that cabin. What have you got? Pig or fever?
I thought about your proposition, Colonel Flores.
And?
I thought about it, my owner, everything. And I couldn't.
Why?
The only thing I can stick by is what I believe in. My good name, that's all I got, sir.
But you can have anything.
No, sir. Nothing, but I've been thinking hard, and I can't keep quiet now either. I'm putting about for New Orleans as fast as I can, and that little lot's going to be given over to the proper authorities.
You can't.
But I can. And don't think you can get up to any fandango, because that piece of fancy ironmongery's gone. It's tucked away safely in my cabin. But I must say, you give me a hard voyage.
What now?
Putting about for New Orleans. All in the hands of the authorities there.
Deck cargo gone as well. I dare say they'll find some employment for you ashore.
You think so?
I'll do my best for you.
Hands to braces. Stand by to come about. Sharp now, we've got a naval officer aboard.
Tugs. Won't touch us. Try the damaging the telegraph cable.
A cold collation.
A cold?
Yes, isn't it daintily set out? There's clear soup.
Cold?
Yes, of course it's cold. Then there's chicken and some crab and a trifle.
Very nice.
Oh, come, you don't seem appreciative.
Oh, I am appreciative.
Oh, we don't have to do a thing, just help ourselves.
Yes, Caroline, there's something that I want to say.
We've got all afternoon.
Yes, well, would you be so kind as to take a seat, if you please? Well, now, I've had something on my mind, but firstly, I know that you've been avoiding me, and I know the reason why.
Avoiding you?
But what I'm going to say has nothing to do with that.
What?
With us, I suppose. Please, don't interrupt. Well, firstly, I apologize for having taken advantage of you.
When did you do that?
Oh, come on, you know what I'm talking about. And anyway, that's water under the bridge. You've been married, I've been married.
Yes.
Well, what I'm coming to is this, that events notwithstanding, I've given this matter a deal of thought. I'm not just saying it on the spur of the moment, you
No, indeed. What is it?
James,
Caroline,
thank heaven I found you, the Scotch lass. Excuse me, Mrs. Listen, I've been out to the pilotage, and the Scotch lass is anchored just outside. Her condenser's gone.
A what?
Condenser.
Well, I don't know what it is, but apparently it can't be repaired at sea. Fogarty's got an anchored right over the Wallasey cable, and the tugs won't touch him.
Why not?
Well, they don't want to be held responsible for damaging the cable. They've been out, but they've gone back to consult their owner's insurance or something. Now, if you're smart, you can get out to them yourself.
Well, I haven't got a tug.
Well, I've arranged for one through Miss Biddulph. It's standing by with steam up. Look, If you're smart and you can get Fogarty off that cable, he's a sitting duck for salvage. You'll even get the last back if the bill's big enough. Come on.
If you'll excuse me, Caroline, eh?
James?
Huh?
What were you going to say?
Well, it'll keep. This is business, you know. Come on, follow me, Brother Robert.
Business.
The best thing you can do is strike a bargain before the tugs get back. Because when they come back, they'll have priced that cable.
To hell with the cable.
But James, if you damage it,
Well, that's a risk I'll have to take. Means I've the Scotch lass back. Lock, stock, and barrel.
What do you want, Onedin?
I'm the International Red Cross.
There's no point in you coming aboard.
Not much point in you staying there either.
I'm waiting for the tugs. They're coming back with their price.
They'll fry you, Fogarty. Now, why not listen to my price, eh?
I don't need your interference, Onedin. We're in no danger.
You're on a lee shore. Let go your anchor chain, you'll smash into those rocks over there. Now, I'm prepared.
The tow us around that cable till that anchor chain's clear of it. But you can't guarantee you won't damage the cable.
Indeed not. So, I'll offer you indemnity against damaging it.
So you accept the risk?
For my price.
You're a witness to the indemnity.
I see.
All right, Onedin. What is your price?
£5,000.
5? That's a third of her value.
Will those other tugs ask for less? If they come. Well, I suppose it's a pleasant enough spot to grow old in.
All right, Onedin. £5,000 it is.
Right, Captain Fogarty. I'm gonna nurse that cable like it was your firstborn.
I never thought James would do it. Well, let's just hope we don't damage that cable.
Slacken off your anchor chain now, Captain. Oh, come on, I'm taking the risk. Slacken her off, please, Captain.
Slack her off there.
Aye, sir.
With the devil's own luck, Onedin, I think we've cleared the cable. Right, thanks to you. You can let go your tow rope now.
No, Captain. Let go your anchor chain. Cut it, even over the side.
So that's it. You mean to tow us back to Liverpool?
What's an anchor chain but 10 pence a rusty?
Salvage. So I lose an anchor chain and you gain a ship.
No, Fogarty. Not gaining a ship. Just taking home what's always rightfully been mine. One of those chances it was. The Wallasey cable's just been laid. Somebody fouled it up about a year ago, and it cost them a pretty penny, so they all got the wind up.
Except you.
Ah, well, I took a chance on dropping that anchor chain. They may still sue me, but it's a job to prove damage unless the thing goes bang first. Anyway, got the loss back.
Congratulations.
It's been a day of days, all right. Captain Baines has been decorated by the Venezuelan government for some act of gallantry. Details to follow. I didn't want to offend you yesterday. But you know, if there's one thing I can't stand, it's cold food.
Oh, can't you? It was Elizabeth's preparation.
Ah, well, thank you, Elizabeth. Yes, I'm sorry I was called away yesterday. But now I can be brief. Caroline, I've decided to marry you. I never thought I'd come to it, but I have.
Are you serious?
Well, of course I'm serious. What do you think I got all done up like a tailor's dummy for?
Was it expensive?
It was, but hang that. Oh, and another thing, I think the sooner that you get out of this house, the better. You know, I've never really approved of you living with Sister Elizabeth anyway.
Oh, indeed. So first you secure the lass.
Aye.
Then you satisfy yourself that Captain Baines is free of trouble.
Aye. And Webster too.
And Elizabeth. Where is she this evening?
Packed her off to Brother Robert.
So first the lass, then Baines, then Elizabeth, and now me. You deal with things in order?
Well, I wouldn't quite put it that way.
Well, I would.
Look, you can have any kind of wedding that you like. You can have them all down from Buxton if you like. 10 Lord Mayors if you fancy it. We'll take a month off. Do the grand tour. Well, part of it anyway.
No expense spared?
None, I swear. Well, when's it to be then, eh? Oh, come on, don't keep me dangling.
It's a wonder you're not reading from an agenda.
Oh, if it's an agenda you want, you can have an agenda. You can have an illuminated address if you like.
James, I can't.
I can't what?
No, that's not right. I won't.
I can't, won't what?
Marry you.
But, you led me to think that, it's Elizabeth. You've been listening to her.
Oh, it's got nothing to do with Elizabeth. It's me. I won't marry you.
Why did you let me?
What?
Well, I assume naturally that...
Naturally?
Well, yes, naturally. A woman like you doesn't just give herself to a man for... You're making sport of me.
No, James, I'm not. And I mean what I say.
You can't mean it. I mean, you've no reason to turn me down. I don't drink, you know. I'm abstemious. I work hard, I make decisions. I'm a good provider. I am whatever anybody else says. I'll get things done.
I'm sorry, James.
Sorry?
Yes. Thank you for asking me. It's a great compliment.
Compliment? I'm coming to pay compliments. Don't believe in compliments. You are making sport of me.